Whoa,
There's
got
an
that.
animal attacking rock and roll's Van Halen can be dangerous, but it would seem to be working. Today, music reporter Rona Elliott recently caught up with the new Van Halen at its first outdoor date of its sold-out summer tour. This was in Boulder, Colorado. Yes, good morning.
Right, Brian. Good morning, Brian. The new Van Halen is made up of brothers Eddie and Alex Van Halen, veteran Michael Anthony, and former solo star Sammy Hagar. Van Halen's album 5150 already sold 2.5 million copies thanks to its 3 top 10 hits. And it's convinced audiences that Sammy Hagar is more than a match for the departed David Lee Roth.
What do you want with us? You want us to be ourselves? Yeah, girl, you really got me down. You got me so dizzy, baby. Yeah, you really got me so adorable.
The general public who has been buying 5150 like hotcakes didn't even blink at the change in the personnel in this band. In fact, the album soared. Did that surprise you?
Oh, yeah, they didn't blink. They went, whoa.
All right.
It sounded like this before.
Did it surprise you at all?
I just figured, you know, we make a good record, and it sounds good. Doesn't matter who's playing. You know, actually, we didn't even play on the record.
We had the monkeys play.
It didn't surprise me. You know, we made this music. We've been hearing it all along. We were the first ones to hear it, and we were so excited every time we came up with a new song that it was like, when that record was done, we were so proud and so up for it. In my heart, I knew it was going to be extremely successful.
We figured if us four like something, there's bound, you know, there's a few million other people out there that are bound to like it too.
The spirit of this band that comes across now really does seem to be an all-for-one, one-for-all kind of happening. It seems like a very unified front. That's pretty accurate, isn't it?
It's much more a band than it used to be.
We're in Boulder. You're on the road from one place to another, one hotel room for another, all the stories about the buses, the airplanes. Do you guys spend any time reading or exercising? You know, what do you do with your time that you could talk about?
Well, as far as exercising, I think 2.5 hours on stage is probably more exercise than even Arnold Schwarzenegger can handle. As far as reading, sure, I read the set list every night.
I can't think of a band with higher visibility, with someone with a higher visibility than David leaving, with less of a brouhaha taking place after he left, where the fit was more exact. So, I mean, were you guys kind of ready for that, just to turn over that quickly?
I think we basically followed our heart. We knew that in our heart that this is going to be a great band, and we like to refer to it as the real Van Halen. As a matter of fact, Sammy was actually a choice of vocalist in 1977 when we signed with Warner Brothers. Now, nobody would cop to it, but that's the doggone truth. But because of legal entanglements and contracts, and because Van Halen was unproven, nothing was ever really pursued.
But, you know, to answer your question, I honestly didn't feel a challenge at all, because I came in strictly being myself. Okay, the minute we made music, we knew I wasn't going to have to adapt. I wasn't going to have to make any changes. The only part I felt funny about was singing old songs, and we just completely worked that out.
So how did you work it out for people that haven't seen you tour yet?
We only do ones that fit with the new lineup that I feel comfortable singing.
You know, when certain person left, it didn't bother us any really because Alex, Mike, and I have always been the core of Van Halen anyway, you know.
And it was easy to see that when I came in. As soon as I heard these guys playing music, the sound had so much identity. It sounded exactly like Van Halen without a singer. And I went, whoa. You know, it's like it dawns on you. You don't ever think of it like that, you know. But these guys did play all the instruments, and nothing changed. All the music came from there. And it's so much Van Halen that it was like, for me, I just went, well, this is great. I just walk in here being myself.
Eddie, Frank Zappa recently thanked you for reinventing the guitar. Was that, were you kind of moved by that, or what do you think he meant?
It's an over-compliment. Yeah, I know him very well. He's a great guy.
There are a lot of people who say that they welcome Sammy's coming to the band because it really gave you a chance to showcase your guitar wizardry. And I know you're kind of modest, so you might not say that, but that's one of the things that people in the music business say. Now we can really hear Eddie play. Has that been a reality for the band?
I'd say so. I mean, it's
A loss for words. Unbelievable.
difference now, the thing that makes Edward's guitar playing stand out is they're not overshadowed by someone making a joke out of everything, okay? Like there's, you know, we have fun, but we aren't making fun of what we do, okay? Like, in other words, when we play music, we're very serious about the music we play, and we have fun doing it, but we take it seriously. And so therefore, I think it shines a little more now.
Van Halen has a reputation for partying hard on the road, and tomorrow in part 2 of our interview, we'll talk to them about life on the road, their marriages, groupies, and what it's really like to be rock and roll stars.
Eddie's married to Valerie Byrne. Now, he sounds bitter about David's split.
I don't think he's too bitter. I think it's the beginning of a new band.
We'll talk. Coming up in...
Parties and lost days on the road between shows. Today, music correspondent Rona Elliott joins us this morning to separate truth from fiction in part 2 of our interview with the rockers Van Halen. Good morning, Rona.
Good morning, Carol. Van Halen has a long summer tour ahead of them in support of their multi-million selling album called 5150. The tour is a world of its own. Road managers, crews, promoters, hangers-on, and of course, groupies. But as you'll see, rocker life for Alex and Eddie Van Halen, Sammy Hagar and Michael Anthony is more solid than it might appear. You guys are all married.
Who? Are you married? Yeah, we are. Of course.
So what's the difference?
It's on the cover.
Right. So what's the difference between the reality and the fantasy of rock and roll party bands stay up all night and you're all like married guys? I mean...
Well, we met all these girls on the road, and that's how we got married, so they still have the same attitude. Let's stay up and party all night.
They stay up with us. You know?
Let's put it like this, our wives are very tolerant.
Very
great
tolerant.
human beings,
Very,
and they are really understanding people, otherwise it would be tough in this business. There's a lot of craziness, a lot of things go on around you, you know, things, you know, are blown out of proportion, and some things are like played down, but no, it's great. It's great being married, keeps you sane, from my opinion. I've been married the longest, and it really, that's why I've been in the business the longest.
It
and still
kind of balances
sane.
out the other side. You know?
How long have you been married?
You really want to know?
drum
17
roll.
years. And when I go back to my room, if my wife's there, if I go back home, my wife's there, it's like sanctuary, okay? It's safe, and it's really
Where have you been,
great.
Sammy?
You're 2 seconds late.
Lipstick on your collar. Hey, I'm up to 5 years, believe it or not, and no one ever thought it would last.
Yeah.
It's great.
What is your response to everyone saying that you and your wife look alike?
Well, why do you think you never see us together? They stay up with us.
I just want to make one comment, is that, you know, in rock and roll, groupies kind of get a bad rap for one reason or another. I don't know why, because if you really look at football has their own groupies,
Yeah.
doctors have their own groupies.
Baseball.
Everybody has their own niche of people that hang around. It's just that in rock and roll, they're much more colorful.
In your real life, the cars and the houses, you're able to take care of your family, you can support the people that you love very generously. Do you guys consider it a privilege to do what you do?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing anything else.
And it is a privilege, though. Really a privilege.
Do you wake up in the morning and say, this is unbelievable, you know, I'm in my mid-30s or whatever it is, and I'm able to do this, I'm able to do what I want, and this is unbelievable, you know?
No,
I think the one
believe
thing-
it.
I think the one thing that runs...
We work real hard at being able to do it, you know. It's not like we were born with guitars and drums and voices that can sing and like it was some gift. You gotta work at it.
You make sacrifices.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get well rewarded, but you do make sacrifices. There's no question about it. But at the same time, it is the best way to make a living on this planet. I would never say that. And I feel just very good about being able to do it. I owe someone. Who do I owe for this, you know?
Okay, for guys in particular in rock and roll, it's still a male domain. You know, when you're 14, 13, 15, you play air guitar and you fantasize being a rock star. When did it hit you that what you really wanted to do was be a rock and roll star, each of you?
That's all I ever wanted to do.
To me, I never wanted to be, quote-unquote, a rock and roll star. I was just always wanted to be a musician.
I never thought, so like Edward, I never thought about doing anything else. I just always sang, or when I started playing guitar kind of late, but I always sang and played, you know, with high school buddies and bands, and just, that's all I ever did and all I ever wanted to do. I just always thought, well, yeah, I'll be like that when I get big, you know?
And the only honest job I've ever had was a paper route, and that was to buy a musical instrument.
Right.
If you're curious about the title of the Van Halen album, 5150 stands for the Los Angeles Police Code for an escaped mental patient. But more important than that, it is Van Halen's first #1 album in the band's history.
Explains a lot. Thank you, Rona. Bryant talks with brilliant South African